Everybody, welcome back with the Flapper. Platypus is the name, and today we're talking Cocoa or Coco. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, she is coming to global very soon here. She is the next upcoming banner, and if you're watching this, they've announced that, so I'm allowed to share it. So let's kind of go over her kit. There's some good things, there's some bad things, things that I dislike, but for the most part, I'm going to be pretty positive, I think. But we're going to start kind of negatively. So let's take a look at her trait. She possesses block. At the start of each round, she grants breakfast to the ally with the lowest HP percentage within 2 tiles of herself. After breakfast or bento effect is triggered, the target has a 30% chance to gain happiness. So first thing you're going to notice, this has got a lot of new keywords, right? Breakfast, bento, happiness, all here. So basically, breakfast is a buff that at the start of a character's turn, they're going to heal 15% HP, and they're going to dispel a debuff. Bento is basically not quite double that, but almost double that. 25% HP and 2 debuffs. Happiness is the really good one. For all skills, reduce energy consumption by 1. After you use a skill, the cooldown is reduced by 1. Removed after any action is taken. So after you use an action, it's going to be gone. So even if you don't use a skill, happiness is still going to go away. This is huge. Given a 1 cost skill, 0 cost, a 4, 3 cost this is better than energy restoration a lot of the time, because it kind of allows you to go above 5 energy, right? Because if a character is at 5 energy and then they lower it by 1, in a way you still gain that energy because you're only going to be consuming 2 as opposed to 3, or 3 instead of 4. So this ability is kind of insane. Also, the cooldown thing is huge. This is going to become combined with very specific abilities. I don't know which one, but this triggers almost every round, right? Well, it doesn't. This is the thing I want to say. This is a good trait. However, this might be the first character that I've seen that is up to 4 stars a different character than at 5 stars. This character gets by far their largest power spike at 5 stars. So you can take a look here, right? First thing she gets is 10% more HP, and then she gets breakfast on 2 allies, and then at 4 stars she gets 20% HP. So it's not until 5 stars where that 30% chance to grant happiness becomes a guaranteed to trigger happiness, which is probably the best thing about her entire trait. So this is a high priority 5-star character, which I think is unfortunate, because I'd like to see the big power spikes at rank 3. Like, even if this went from 30% to like 70% or something, and then 70 to 100, I think you could justify it. But it's like, I kind of feel like if you're going to pull this character, this should be your top priority to 5-star, because she is completely different functionality, I feel like, when you get to 5-star. Going from 30% to 100% on happiness, probably the best part of her kit, is huge. And I actually think that's a downside. I don't like seeing it that high up. But still, it's like she's not like she's completely dysfunctional without that. It's just like it's lame to have that part of her kit put behind such a big paywall, where it almost feels like they didn't even want to put it in at level, like they shouldn't even have put it in at level 1. It would have looked better if it was no happiness at level 1 and then happiness 30% at level 3, and then everyone would have only felt like they had to get her to 3 stars. But still, whatever. First, her signature ability, Try the Pan. Very good ability. Single target attack. Also, she is a guardian, which is kind of nice. Valder and Fortitude. That is her tags. 120% damage, and knocks the target back 3 tiles. I think this is the only 3-tile ability we have, and we could equip it with the Denial Hammer, where you could actually make this attack could be a 4-tile knockback if you're using Denial Hammer. Increasing knockback tiles is good. It's not as insane because of the way Frost in this game works, so you can increase the knockback of any character with some Frost, but still, it's very frequent. If you want to knock someone off an edge, they might be 1 tile away. This will fix that, so you're not going to have that issue. Physical defense down 2 and speed down 2 are both very good for 2 turns. Actually, really quick, something I want to mention about breakfast happiness that I actually didn't mention that I think is a positive. This does not trigger at the start of her turn or at the end of her turn like a lot of these abilities do. This triggers at the start of each round, meaning even if she moves slower than like Simona, and Simona is almost dead, Simona will get the breakfast buff because it triggers when the round starts, and then Simona goes first. So she gets the breakfast buffed right away. So it is kind of nice that it's not speed relevant, that it just happens at the start of the round. But let's go into other skills here. I think Mountain Tribes is great. Increasing movement by 1 while unharmed is fantastic. And then if you attack from Highland, or moves from one tile to another with a height difference of more than 2 tiles, increase damage by 20%. Mountain Tribes is just good always, right? It's probably better than Crushing Bash. Vulnerable 2 is fine, but I like having situational movement over this. Rank 3, she's got the Potluck Protector. When blocking, damage taken is decreased by 15%. If the character is not dying, performs assisting cover to all other allies within 2 tiles. So this is really, really powerful. This is a power creep, I think, style ability. So when you're blocking, damage taken is decreased by 15%. That's already pretty good because block already does like 50%. Although it doesn't work against magic, I'll admit. But this, if the character is not dying, means if she won't accidentally, she might accidentally kill herself if, you know, you get killed from 70% HP. But if she's below that 30% threshold, she is not going to perform assisting covers. She will let that person take the hit. So there's like almost a smart, this ability has built into it a way to make the character seem smarter, where they're not going to block when they're dying. So they're not going to just go and get themselves killed immediately. Also, this does assisting cover as many times per round as you need it to. It does it. There's no like one time per, like the normal passive guard is you just guard and it's like one time a turn. This is, you know, sometimes it'll be like, oh, this is just a passive. This is always active. She's always going to be doing assisting cover if she's not dying, which is very good. This is a super powerful block version, like very powerful version of this ability with assisting cover. Coco's Treasure Chest. This is an ability. Here's the thing. The rank 3s are always so good in these fucking characters. I really wish they could switch one of these around, but then you wouldn't have to spend Costabadilla. But basically she gets 3 abilities that are very similar. They basically will just cost different amounts. I actually don't know how these are actually going to work, because I don't know if this skill, I assume they'll cost different amounts of energy. But basically, you can choose one of 4 abilities. Heal an ally for 25% of the caster's HP, which is, you know, her own HP, which is a lot. Could be cast up to 5 times per battle. Heal an ally for 45% of the caster's HP and restores an energy. Or dispels all debuffs on the target and grants damage up 3, damage reduction 3, and immune to attributes debuffs for 3 turns. Can be cast up to 3 times per battle. And then you get a super, I'll just read it. Piercing damage equal to 30% of the target's HP and inflicts sleep after lasting for only 1 turn. Afterward, inflicts 2 stacks of infection. Can be cast 3 times per battle. So I assume these abilities have relatively varied costs, or if they're all free, that's insane because these abilities are all good. The worst ability is the Springy Bandage, but that's only because I'm not seeing costs associated with them. But if this like costs 0, like still, it's a great heal and it's instant. It's the only one that's instant. So this one actually might be the best. None of these abilities are bad. They're all good, right? Recovering energy and a huge heal, doing a huge buff. And you know, these are huge buffs, and dispels all debuffs, and the inflicting sleep and a bunch of damage and like it just, they're all good. Every one of these abilities is fucking nuts. So they're badass. Stay Strong. Her reaction after being hit by a single target attack heals the character and one other ally with the lowest HP, percentage within 2 tiles for 12% of the caster's HP. This ability is busted. The only issue you're gonna have here is there's no damage reduction on it, so you could potentially get one shot if it's like a breaker doing some massive attack. But if it's not that, then this is insane with her passive, because twice per turn, she's going to already block for her allies, right? Always, that are within 2 tiles. She's going to just block for them. Then when she blocks them and they're attacking with a physical attack, she's going to heal herself for 12%. And then she could do that again. So she could heal herself for up to 25 or 24% of her own HP, while also healing an ally 24% of her HP. And this character has massive HP. They have the passive 20% in her kit at once you get her up to 5-star. Not even 5-star. Once you get her up to 4-star. But even once you get her to 2 stars, she's going to get 10% HP, which is a lot of HP. So she's already going to have higher HP than everybody else in the game, probably. Combined with this, she's going to tank for fucking days. And she's healing like crazy. This is a dedicated tank that's also maybe replacing Angel as the best dedicated healer The single target healing is like the AoE healing is not going to be as good because it's a little all over the place. She's just making breakfast for dying characters. You can't kind of like preempt. So like Angel will have her place, but I think this character has a chance here. Leader's Aura for all Valder allies, whatever dog water. It's not very good. You would just have the other one, but it is there. Block enhancement. When receiving ranged physical attacks from the front or side, you have a 100% chance to trigger block. Block decreases damage taken by 10%. I assume that this increases it by 10% because block normally does 20%, right? Decreasing damage by 20. Maybe it's like only it's 10% decreased against range attacks, but you have a guaranteed chance to block. But again, also single target attack. This doesn't care if she gets hit by a single target physical attack. As long as it's a single target attack, she's going to heal herself, magic or not. So stay strong is fucking insane. Block enhancement is also good. I don't know if it'll make the cut. Let me take a look here. Honestly, there's no way it'll make the cut, right? Because I'm going to be using Potluck Protector. I'm going to be using Stay Strong. And then this is just not going to make the cut, like, ever. Kind of the same thing here, even though I like this ability. This is your basic attack. I'm sorry. This one will make the cut. Single target attack. She deals 100% physical damage. When performing a back attack, there is a 70% chance to inflict stun. That's insane. It can only be triggered once per target per battle. So it's not once per battle, but it's like each character on the enemy team can only get trigger this once. You do have to do a back attack. Easier said than done. But a 100% damage and a 70% chance to inflict stun is kind of fucking nuts. I mean, I am absolutely going to take this and I'm going to be trying to use it. She's already like, she doesn't have the greatest movement, but she is a Valder, right? She gets the mountain tribes, so she gets 1 extra movement while unharmed. And the fact that she heals herself so much with Stay Strong, I just don't think it's going to make the cut. All of her abilities are so good that even good abilities don't make the cut. This will, but I don't think the mountain tribes will. Let's take a look here at 11. Invulnerable, damage reduction, Mind's Eye, immunity to disrupt. This ability is always good, and I never take it, even though this could be the situation where you do take it because she's assisting everybody. She can't get back attacked. Immunity to disrupt. Like, this makes her literally the best tank in the game because her ability to always assist cover everybody. Unless she's dying, but you're not going to be dying with damage reduction 4. I don't think. This ability is good, but, I mean, come on. Iron Pot Stew. You heal all allies within 3 tiles around her for 30% of her HP. It doesn't say her current HP or her max HP, so I'm assuming this is her max HP. But also, you grant them crit 2, crit damage 1 for 2 turns, as well as Bento. Again, Bento heals them at the start of the turn. So this is like such an insane heal. You grant all your allies Bento, like in an AoE around her. It's not like only 2 targets like it is with her breakfast. The Bento is, and then when the Bento's triggered at the start of their turn, they're going to gain happiness if you get her at 5 stars. I mean, honestly, I can't say anything bad about this character. This seems like an S+ tier Guardian character. Absolutely. Like, okay, they're not a damage dealer. That's the only thing I could say about them that's bad, right? Her damage is never going to be impressive. If you get her most powerful attack and you use it, which is her signature ability, right, at 120%, it's never going to be impressive. But who cares? Angel doesn't do a lot of damage either, and she's one of the best characters in the game. This is probably the tankiest character. Maybe not like from a damage reduction standpoint, but from the ability to get hit and keep going. So she has great, insane HP, insane ability to defend her allies, insane amounts of healing. Absolutely. Like, this makes Flare look like dog shit, bro. Flare already looked like dog shit, but this like actually fucking puts Flare in the ground. And then just insane healing, decent buffs, the ability to sometimes stun characters. If you make the Coco treasure chest, like, you have different kinds of healing, different kinds of damage, like just a 10 out of 10 S+ character, in my opinion. The downside is that you're going to need her, if you actually want her to be transformatively powerful, you need her at 5 stars. However, here's the thing. This is a 1 or a 5-star character, in my opinion. Oh, 2. This is a 2-star or a 5-star character. You want that 10% HP. And if you get her to 2 stars, that'll be fine, but she's not going to like break your game, I don't feel like. I think once you get happiness, this is where it's like, that's a huge buff. Reducing cooldowns and energy consumption, those are 2 fucking very powerful effects to have on one thing that's happening passively. It's insane. So 2 stars if you want the 10% HP, and you're going to have her just be a dedicated tank and healer. However, if you want her to be more of a insane support while also being one of the best tanks and healers in the game, which is 3 roles in 1, She's a great tank, a great healer, and a great support. That's crazy to have in one character. You're gonna need her at 5 stars. So that's the main downside, but I feel like they kind of knew that. But yeah, we're talking, that's about Coco. As far as like weapons go, like, I mean, you could go with the denial hammer to make this thing better, but I don't know if try the pan's actually gonna make the cut. Like, if I'm being honest, like, I'm gonna be using Potluck Protector. I'm gonna be using Stay Strong. Well, that's her reaction. You're right. I'm an idiot. That's her reaction. For some reason, I thought that was a passive. So Potluck Protector, reaction, attack, and then you're going to be using the Iron Pot Stew. So you have 1 slot open. So you might be using Mountain Tribes. You might be using Coco. I'm probably going to end up using the Treasure Chest because I like how much of it is. And it gives her a chance to be a more dedicated healer and support, depending on what you need. And a damage dealer. It just does everything so good. That's probably what I'm taking. So I probably am not interested in Denial Hammer. When target's HP percentage is lower than the characters when attacking. There you go. This is probably what you want. You probably want her to have the Feast Axe because she's going to always have the most HP. But honestly, I'd probably just take something that gives her more HP. Increase HP. Like this secondary effect may not go off, but just increasing her HP makes her good at everything. You don't really care about her physical attack. I mean, maybe, you know what? The Cornucopia Axe could be good. When healthy, which is frequently, you're just going to get a bunch of energy. And when you get a bunch of energy, you could just use, you know, that has a 3-turn cooldown, but maybe you'll be able to use these a bunch. Or if you do have, if you have this on there, you'll be able to use that every single turn instead. So I actually think the Cornucopia Axe is probably going to be her best item here. As for trinkets, honestly, it's like, I don't feel like it even fucking matters because she's just so tanky. I'll probably take something like that just gives her damage reduction, maybe like decreased damage from range attacks. I don't know if she needs to have like an active. Okay, sorry, she wants the cooling powder. Yeah, she needs to be able to heal herself or her whole job falls apart. So cooling powder is definitely where she wants to go. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm not gonna talk about the tarots because I feel like tarots are too situational and they're so good on, like, so many tarots are good on so many characters. I don't feel like there's necessarily a best in slot for her. Like, you could do the increased healing effect, sure. You could do a way to just give her Devil to give her a bunch of more defensive stats. Sure, there's like a lot of things that are good, and so I'm not sure which one's best in slot. But that's gonna be all for today, guys. Thank you very much for Platypus. Purplatypus. Cocoa, you are gonna be our you are going to be a staple on a lot of accounts if people actually get to pull you. Because if anyone has currency, who fucking knows at this point. But anyway, that's all for today, guys. Thank you very much. I think I already said it for Platypus. See you next time. Bye. Platypus on the rise. Watch the